All right, well, welcome back, everybody. My name's Andrew, and you're watching the Kelley's Country Life. So we are going to load you down with even more pole barn house episodes. You've been asking for them, you're getting them. So a lot to go over in this episode, including some good news, some bad news. So yesterday afternoon, I didn't record this, but I got a relatively large order from Lowe's. I'm getting more and more broke by the day, y'all. So this is the majority of the siding needed for the house, and the reason I say majority, I had another hiccup with delivery. So I got a big delivery a while back, and I was short several 2x4s and charged for them. Yesterday, I've gotten a habit now, I stop the delivery driver and count everything. I hate to be that way, but I don't want to lose no hard-earned money. 31 boards short for hardy board siding. That's a lot. Getting billed for 287 that I needed, 256 on the truck. Not matching up. Luckily, the delivery driver was awesome. And by the way, I think they're contracted out. He's not even the guy that loaded up. He just drives. But he was awesome. We both counted together. We verified. We signed the receipt. Called this morning. No problems. We're going to get it credited back to your account. But now I'm short 31 boards. The problem is I bought them out completely. Hardy's hard to find. So I'm 31 boards short on being able to finish the house. That's no big deal because I'm only going to do about half the house, move into some other things. I've told y'all we're going to be back and forth bouncing around because I've got to stay ahead of certain things for contractors. It's tough scheduling and figuring all this out as a one-man guy. Do a little bit here so that contractor can get started because there's still a few things I want to sub out. For example, sheetrock, probably the AC, haven't made my mind up yet. Seamless gutters and drip edge and all that stuff, I'm absolutely hiring that out because I don't have the machine and I can't go pick up a 70-foot long gutter from somewhere, and I truly believe in seamless. So I'll be jumping back and forth to stay ahead of these guys coming in. So we're gonna get this. I need to get some of this wood out from here, and I gotta do it quick because the bad news is United Rentals is on the way to pick up the man lift that I have. They sold it, y'all. They sold it. I'll tell y'all about that in a second. Let me grab some wood here so that when they let their trailer down, it does not damage my porch. Now y'all thought I was joking. There goes my lift. But the good news is they brought me another one. Had to cut up with y'all just a little. So this one's a little bit newer. Apparently when they get high hour machines like that, they put them up for sale, and that one sold sight unseen. So it was kind of a shock to get a call, hey, coming to get the lift. What? Why? I'm not done with it. Sold it. Really? Don't worry, we're bringing you another one. Whew. Okay, so I had to be here for that. Sadly, I had a fishing trip planned this morning, but had to be here for the swap over. Now, the good news is, this one looks a little newer. It's much smoother. That last one was a bucking Bronco, man. Oh, man, it was not smooth to drive around at all. And this one has a nice gate in the back that's removable. This is a better unit, so I'm kind of happy they swapped it out. All right, now let's get to work. All right, so I am sure that some of you were wondering, what in the heck is this guy doing? This is something I've been dreaming about doing ever since starting the house build, something I really want. Some of you are probably gonna think it's stupid and complete waste of time and money. Some people may actually agree with me on this, but let me explain. So what I'm basically building is a breaker closet. Now, this is not a closet, this is a pantry. You cannot put a main breaker in a closet according to code, but I couldn't find anything that talked about you couldn't space the breaker off the wall. Now, typically you have a main panel like this, and it fits in the wall. Well, I got boards all in the way. It fits deep into the wall, almost against my OSB. Now, what I don't like about that is you get zero insulation behind this, nothing. I mean, you can't fit nothing. It's got a gap that big. Then all your wires are tucked in the wall, and you have to drill and run up through all those double top plates that has nails, screws, everything in them. I can't stand that. I'm gonna ruin bits. I'm destroying my top plates, and again, I'm getting no insulation in the wall there. I don't see how it does not build up condensation on the backside of my main breaker panel. So by me spacing this out with a 2x4, I can mount this panel in just like you would if that was a 2x4 wall, but I've still got my full 5.5 inches behind it that I can fill full of spray foam. That's a cool thing. But it gets even better. Wait, there's more. So my plan is to do my through wall penetrations down in this area right here. Like for my AC disconnect, I've got to put an outlet outside, and for a future run of wire for potentially a pool, a hot tub, anything like that, I want access to it. But I don't know what size wire to run right now. I don't know where this stuff's going, and I don't even know if we're gonna get things like a hot tub. So most people say, go ahead and wire everything you can think of. That's extremely expensive and hard to do right now. But it'd be nice to have access to the outside of the wall and easy penetrations to put through the wall even after the house is built. That's what I plan on doing. So imagine if my breaker panel's somewhere right in here. I've got to go get the height measurements for my meter that goes on the outside from my power company to determine the height of my breaker panel, even though code does have a few measurements. For example, the very top breaker switch can't be no higher than 6 foot 7 inches. That's pretty high. I'd like to go a little lower, but that's really going to be dependent on my meter box height outside. But just say the breaker panel's right in here. Now here's what I'm gonna do. I bought some of that really nice plywood that I showed y'all. I'm actually gonna sheathe over all this. It's paintable, sanded, ready to go plywood. So I'm gonna go ahead and have this painted, ready to go. Well, not painted, but sheathed over once I pick my panel height. Then we can just sheetrock right up to this, caulk the joint, paint it. You won't really be able to tell much of a difference because that stuff is so smooth, it's ready to go. That's why I just put these drywall nailers in all the way around this too, because we're no longer nailing drywall over here. I had to put one in here as well to run drywall this way. But imagine this P shape that I have here is covered in plywood. I'm gonna cut an opening down here, put a door. Hope this is all allowed by code. So I can always access those penetrations to the house if I run a phone line, internet, anything I need to. And I've got special designed penetrations for the outside too, so we can access this later. Here's the other thing. I'm also going to put a door up above the breaker panel, so bam, there's access to all my wires. So if I want to pull wires in the future for the new addition or anything else that we're going to do, it can come right down into the top of the breaker panel. I don't have drywall up here. I don't have to go up top, drill holes, try to fish wires. I just got a door I can open. Now this side over here, it's gonna be the same thing. I'm gonna have a door here too. In this box, I'm gonna cut an opening, mount my door on some hinges, make it look nice. And this is where I'm gonna run all my Ethernet cable, all my Cat 6s. As of right now, we don't have internet out here. I'm waiting to get Starlink, and we'll see what else we can get in the future. Eventually, we will get something. So I'm gonna go ahead and do runs of Cat 6 to the house, make this basically my network box up here. I can easily pull power over. I can build a shelf out here, do wireless router, whatever I want to do, but I'll have all my Cat 6 curled up in here for any future networking add-ons. Plus, again, look at this. Very easy in this box to run right through the top, go up in the attic and pull network cable just about anywhere I need to, minus the living room, but I'm going to go ahead and run a few cables in the living room as well. So this is just giving me easy access to the house. But wait, it gets better. Remember how I was telling you I don't want to drill through those double top plates up there? Well, I went ahead and notched out all up top there. Now look at that wide open space that I get to run all my wires through. All that's above it is old thin OSB. Very easy to drill through, poke my wires up into the attic, take off anywhere I want in the house. I'm just gonna drill one small over here since I'm only gonna run a few network cables in to that box. So hopefully this makes sense. Hopefully code allows this. I read and read and read. I couldn't find anything that says you can't space your breaker panel out. This is just like me having an even deeper wall. But like I said, now full insulation, easy wire access, easy add on the future, and easy access to outside. It seemed like a win-win. This is something I've been really wanting to do. And since 2x4s are $4 right now, it was kind of cheap to build this. That's nice. I think I need to buy that. That'll be the stairs for the new house. All right, so let's talk just a minute, because I know a lot of y'all are learning just like myself, and you're taking notes for your future build, whether it be a house or a pole barn. So this is the part that pains me to drill holes, as you're seeing me do, through, I'm just doing blocking right now, but now I'm about to start going through floor joist. It's just about impossible. I do have a big open attic, but keep in mind there's loft and all up here. It's just about impossible to go through the attic everywhere you need, plus that wastes a ton of wire to just go around the world to get back over to here when you can go through a few floor joists. So I've did a lot of reading up on this, talked with a few people. I'll regurgitate some of the stuff I've learned. Y'all feel free to correct me if I'm saying this wrong. But let's talk a little bit about wiring and how we're gonna run it. All right, so the National Electric Code lays out that you have to have certain circuits for a kitchen. Kitchen having the most circuits of anything in the house. So that's what I'm pulling right now. You've got to have one for your range if it's electric. We're doing gas, no big deal there. You've got to have one for your refrigerator, a dedicated outlet. It's recommended to have 2 countertop circuits. I'm definitely going to have those so we can run, like say, 2 crock pots at the same time. I was just shocked to find out you have to have a dedicated lighting outlet. I was thinking I could use a receptacle outlet to power up the few little lights that I have in here, but everything I'm reading says have a lighting outlet. So that's an extra wire I'm pulling that I was not prepared for. Let's see what else we have to have here. Oh yeah, dishwasher. If you're going to have a dishwasher, it's got to have a dedicated outlet. And from what I read, you can run a garbage disposal off that, although we are not doing a garbage disposal. So I have to pull 6 circuits in here. A lot of homes will have to pull even more. So, man, oh man, how do we go about the wiring? How do we run it everywhere? And how do we not cause the loft that we just built to collapse in on the kitchen? So as you can see, I'm running through blocking right now. That's not as critical because keep in mind, I put this block in and it wasn't even required by plans, but I'm still spacing my holes out. You want to stay at least 2 inches from the bottom because whenever they put sheetrock up, typically they use, I think it's an 1 5/8 screw. So it only shoot in but so far, but you don't want to run your hole so close to the bottom edge that a screw could pierce through the wiring. Plus you want to space your holes out so you still keep the strength of your wood. Now, I'm running 3/4 inch holes, and everything I've read says 2 12-gauge wires are okay to put through a 3/4 inch hole. Some people say you never want to put more than 2 wires in a hole. I haven't found that in code, but I'm going to try to go by that rule. Something about if you have too many wires grouped together, the heat that they can generate can cause degradation and a few other things. But what about when we start running through a structural floor joist? This is where it just gets painful to drill through. So it's critical. We do not want to drill a hole in the bottom 2 inches. You do not want to drill a hole in the top 2 inches. Keep in mind, screws are coming in this way. All the flooring nails, see there's one sticking out how far down that comes. They're coming through. So you have this small section in the middle that you can drill your holes. Now code also states that you want at least a minimum of a 2 inch gap between your holes that you drill to maintain some structural integrity and holding wood in the middle. And you got to understand the forces that are going on here that'll make you feel a little bit more at ease. The middle is not really where your strength of your wood at all is. So all the weight is up top on this board, causing compression on the upper side of the joist. So the bottom is in tension. It's trying to bow down and pull apart essentially. The top's compressing. So this is a critical area. That's a critical area, but especially this bottom where that tension is. You were to take and cut that out, this thing could fall apart. And if you do a lot of firewood or tree cutting, you'll start understanding that compression and tension that I'm talking about. Now what's in the middle? Yeah, it serves some purpose, but it is nowhere near as critical as those 2 different factors that you have going on top and bottom. So yes, you can drill and run through. I've got to run, I think 3 circuits over to here, carry 2 more down and go through over to this side of the kitchen sink. So we're going to start drilling through these joists, and I'm going to go by everything I read with code. Again, critical. 2 inches from the bottom, 2 inches from the top, and 2 inches holes apart. So it's a 2-2-2 rule right there. And don't drill one big hole and cram a whole bunch of wires through. That seems to be kind of frowned upon, although I'm not sure about code on that. Now, please, anybody, I know we have professional electricians watching this, and we have contractors and everything else. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's what the comment section's for all of us to learn. I'm just regurgitating some stuff. I'm not a professional home builder. I'm reading a lot of code, so I'm a little fresh on some of it, but some of it I'm interpreting it myself. I don't know. I haven't had the run-in with the inspector yet to tell you if I'm right or wrong. So take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. And once I get my rough-in inspection, I'll let you know if some things were no, yeah, or if people email me, or again, drop that comment, start really correcting me, we'll cover it in the next episode. Let's start drilling holes in our floor joist. I've researched this a lot that I feel comfortable enough to move forward with that, but oh, I don't like it. All right, now that is the first main run. This is my lighting circuit now, and I'll have to get a line over out of this box to the lighting, under cabinet lighting and sink lighting as well. Now I know code also requires that anytime you run a wire into something, you're supposed to staple it or peg it to a board within 12 inches if I remember correctly. But I'm gonna run another wire back out this and up over to a light. I'm waiting on some 14-3 to come, and I'll just peg them both. So we'll catch that a little bit later. So I don't know if it's right or wrong. In my mind, it's my first time ever wiring a house. It just makes more sense to me to go ahead and pull all my circuits. So that's basically a wire coming from a circuit breaker and terminate it at a box to where then I'll come back with more wire and go to lights, receptacles, whatever it needs to be. So I want to go ahead and get all my circuits pulled, ran, and then I'll go room by room, jumpering my wires around to everything else that's needed. I'll gladly take y'all's input. This just makes the most sense in my mind. This is the path I chose to take off with. All right, well, assuming y'all can even see me, we finally made some progress today. Now, I didn't get near as much done as it looked like I should, but I did a lot of stuff outside, a lot of stuff off camera over at the shop that I had to knock out today. But we have officially started pulling electrical. And I realized I told y'all something wrong earlier. I said I was going to pull 12 gauge wire to all my circuits, or for my circuits, and then I was gonna run some 14-2 off to lights. I didn't think about, that's technically not right. Even though if I were to protect that circuit with a 15 amp breaker, you're okay to do that. It just doesn't look right in case somebody down the road seen a yellow 12 gauge wire in there that said lights and wanted to put a 20 amp breaker on there. And lo and behold, there's 14 gauge running out of the box. So I think I've made my mind up. I'm gonna return the 14 gauge wire, go get a few more rolls of 12-2 and just run everything 12, even though 12 gauge is so overkill for the 15 watt LED lights that I'm putting in. But that'll keep everything nice and consistent, and I can get nothing but straight 20 amp breakers because I'm trying to buy those in bulk right now. Got to get these special arc fault and everything else, so that's really fun. All right, so don't judge me too much because I haven't even started organizing everything yet. I've got nice snap-in organizers. I'm gonna get my wires looking right. But we have all circuits pulled for the kitchen. And this is the biggest room in the house. Now again, circuits is just, we've got lines pulled that's feeding power to boxes. I still have to jumper all the boxes together. So we've got 2 receptacle circuits pulled, got the dishwasher pulled, got the microwave pulled and tucked in. I have started one of the circuits right there. Refrigerator's got to be on its own independent circuit, and lighting, we now have power over to that for its own independent circuit. I have also pulled and started my circuits for the pantry, as well as pulled my first one into the bedroom, and I'll start daisy chaining those around for the bedroom and closet, combine those on one circuit. 20 amps should be more than enough to feed a bedroom and a closet. I mean, other than a fan, there's really not much running in a bedroom. What, plugging in a few phones? So it may be a few days before I get you another house video. It's going into the weekend now. I have to mow this yard tomorrow. I've got to run to the electrical co-op and go pick up my meter panel and outside breaker panel combo, whatever the heck it is. I've got to figure that out. Then I've got to make a trip back to Lowe's this weekend, probably up in Georgia. We live in Florida, by the way, because I'm trying to find PVC trim board. I can't find the stuff. That's what I need to start my siding. I'm trying to put a big 5.5 inch thick PVC trim on the bottom because it can actually take weather, moisture, dirt, mud, all that stuff. Believe it or not, hardy trim has to stay a certain distance away from the ground. The PVC trim, I don't think that it does, although it's still going to be spaced off the ground some. I'm struggling to find that stuff. We've got all the hardy board here, minus a few pieces that didn't show up. They've already refunded me, by the way. We've got all the trim that we need. So next week, I'll dive back into electrical and probably mix it up with a little bit of hardy siding, assuming the co-op has given me my meter box. And hopefully I've talked to the AC guy and figured out exactly where his penetrations are going to be through the wall, although I'm quite certain I know what those are. So that was a mouthful. I am juggling so many different things right now, bouncing back and forth between so many jobs that I'm getting a little scatterbrained, but that's the way it is. I've signed up to be the GC or RC on this job and kind of oversee everything, and I'm happen to be the worker too. So I've got to try to stay ahead of all the contractors that I'm hiring coming up here as well for these little jobs that we just discussed. All right, I need to clean up. It's a mess. Y'all enjoy your weekend. I'll catch y'all next week. We'll jump right back on the house. Thanks for watching.